everyone, it's Leah again. Welcome back to Leah's Lifestyle or Leah's Adventures, depending on if you're here with me on Twitch or if you're with me on YouTube. Today we are reading Rule 1 again. We are 12% in, page 33 if you are working on a Kindle. Is that where it starts? Oh yeah, because the page before was like the whatever thing. So we're starting at the top of the page. Bloop bloop. Let's just get into it. Okay. Some things don't change. Rule number 1 is one of those things. It's been the basis of excellent investing for the last 100 years, and it will be the basis of excellent investing 100 years from now. A rule number 1 investor looks at stocks as businesses that they have determinable value, and then waits patiently for market fluctuation to bring her that business at a great price. Why'd they use her? That's cute. Aww. Normally they just use he, like, naturally, but they used her, like, she could be an investor. Here are the rule's main tenets. Rule number 1 in a nutshell. First, understand that rule number 1 literally is don't lose money. But what it means in practical terms is to invest with certainty. Certainty comes from this: buying a wonderful business at an attractive price. Memorize the following. Knowing you will make money comes from buying a wonderful business at an attractive price. The word wonderful actually encompasses 3 simple elements that we'll explore in depth in upcoming chapters. First, wonderful implies that the business has meaning to you, that you understand it enough to want to own the whole thing if you could, that you'd be proud to own it, and that the business reflects your values. On a second level, wonderful means that the business meets certain criteria in terms of financial strength and predictability. In particular, it must have a so-called moat. And third, it must have a good management. If you don't know what it means by moat and good management, don't worry. I'll be taking you through exactly what a moat is, how to identify one, and how to spot good management. I'll spell out the criteria you need to confidently label a company wonderful. It's not enough, however, for the business to be just wonderful. We need to buy this business at an attractive price. By attractive, I mean we can buy the business with a very big margin of safety, MOS. To me, a nice MOS is buying $1 of value for 50 cents. So, once I know what a business is worth, I want to buy it for half the price. Obviously, doing that will make me very rich at some point. Figuring out the value of a business is either easy or impossible. If a business is wonderful, then by definition, it's a business that's predictable. If it's predictable, we can determine a value. If it's not a predictable business, it's impossible to know what it's worth. And I'll tell you exactly how to spot businesses that are predictable and thus can be valued, as well as teach you how to calculate their value quickly. Rule number 1 investing comes down to 4 straightforward steps. Find a wonderful business, know what it's worth as a business, buy it at 50% off, repeat until very rich. Seems simple enough. Why doesn't everyone do it? Here's Buffett's answer to that very question. It is extraordinary to me that the idea of buying dollar bills for 50 cents takes immediately with people, or it doesn't take at all. It's like an inconclusion. If it doesn't grab a person right away, I find that you can talk to him for years and show him records, and it doesn't make any difference. They just don't seem able to grasp the concept simply as it is. When I was taught rule number 1 investing, the first truth I learned was the following: the price of a thing is not always equal to its value. For example, if I want to buy a new car, I have a pretty good idea of what it's worth before I walk into a dealership. I know its sticker price, and I know it's sold for a range of prices, usually less than the sticker price. I don't plan on paying whatever the dealer asks, but suppose I don't know what the car is worth. The dealer can get away with selling it to me for a lot more than its value, above its sticker price. If I pay $200,000 for a Mercedes-Benz that has a retail value or a sticker price of $100,000, when I sell it, I'm going to lose a lot of money. But if I could buy it for $50,000, when I sell it, I'm going to make money. Buying stocks as businesses is just like that, except there's no sticker price on the window. We have to figure out what the sticker price is and then pay less. In essence, rule number 1 is just about being a good shopper. And you know what? Pause on this. That is so true when it comes to everything. That is something that I've been learning a lot, especially over the last 5 years. And it's been really difficult to put into practice, is being a good shopper. I think everyone needs to be an amazing consumer, because I think that's how we have control as people who don't have mass monies to push things into the directions that we want. We have to use the money we have now. And so that means really truly understanding where you're buying things and how you're buying things. And I'm still not as great as I want to be, but I buy locally. I buy things that are going to last a lot longer. I try to buy things that can be recycled, reused, or repurposed in some way, shape, or form, especially repurposed. I hate buying plastic. I really hate buying plastic, but if I'm going to buy plastic, I promise you, I'm looking at how great that plastic is so I can use it for something else. But I think that's just in everything. I think that idea is not just for investing. So I think if you're going to get into investing, the first thing you should start practicing is practicing how good you are at using your money. What are you buying? Are you just buying everything? Are you buying a pack of gum every time you go into the grocery store? Do you really need that pack of gum? And I know people can be like, oh yeah, my breath stinks, da 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 da. I don't well, there's plenty of other ways to clean out your breath than gum that are not throwawayable, right? Toothbrushes, yeah, okay, I get that, but it's less throwawayable, right? You reuse it for 6 months before you throw it away. So I don't see why, if you are worried about your breath, that could be a thing. Less trash is probably thrown out if you just buy mouthwash. And you could probably buy mouthwash in a glass bottle instead of plastic. But there's lots of options. You just have to look into them. Okay, back to it. If you are the type who waits to buy until there's a red tag sale where items get priced well below their actual values, you know that flat screen TV is worth $5,000, but that you can get it for $2,500. You're already set to be a good rule number 1 investor. All it takes is learning how to determine the value of wonderful companies and waiting for the market to sell you those companies at discount prices. If we would not expect a car always to be priced right, why would we expect businesses always to be priced right? Businesses are different from cars and other sellable goods in one important aspect. The sticker price of a business is determined by the kind of surplus cash it can produce for its owners in the future. Rule number 1, investors can look at a business and quickly figure out what kind of surplus it can produce in the future, deriving from that the sticker price of the business. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do. Once you know how to calculate a company's sticker price, which is its value regardless of the price it's selling on the market, you're on your way to invest with certainty and abiding by rule number 1. The 4 M's. In thinking about the process you'll be undertaking its finding. In thinking about the process you will be undertaking in finding wonderful companies at attractive prices, it helps to think of what I've just outlined and what I call the 4 M's. Meaning, moat, management, and margin of safety. Right now, the 4 words may not make a whole lot of sense to you, but we'll be going into great detail on each of them. They'll be your signpost as you travel the path to the perfect investment. They are the easy ways of recalling the steps to take from beginning, when you're just thinking about investing in certain businesses, to the end, when you're ready to buy the business with your hard-earned money. The trick to understanding the essence of the 4 M's is to turn them into questions you can answer in evaluating a business and deciding whether it can be a good investment. How you go about answering these questions in a methodical step-by-step process is the focus of the next several chapters. Does this business have meaning to you? That's the first question. So I'm going to go to here because later we'll be researching companies together on here, and we're going to use these as our guiding points so I can show you guys kind of how to do this in real time. Real active. Okay, does this business have meaning to you? The second question is, does the business have a wide moat? Does business have a wide moat? The third question is, does the business have great management? Does the business So it's meaning, moat, management. The fourth question is, does the business have a big margin of safety? Okay, those are going to be important questions that we're going to be working with in the future, so I think it's really smart to have those and to continue with them. Okay. If you can answer a big unconditional yes to all 4 of these questions, you'll know that the business is one you want to buy. A few requirements follow these questions. The first question, does the business have meaning to you, demands you buy it only if you be willing to make the business the sole financial support of your family for the next 100 years. In other words, you better know what you're buying, because if it goes down, your family is going to starve. It only demands you act as if you're the sole owner. In other words, you better know what the business does and be confident it operates from a set of values you feel comfortable with. The second question, does the business have a wide moat? Demands the business be able to defend itself against attacks by competitors as if they were attacking arms against a as if they were attacking armies trying to sack the castle. In other words, you better be able to accurately predict the business's long-term future. The third question, does the business have great management? Demands you be confident that the people running the business are doing so, as if it were their family's own means of support for the next 100 years. In other words, you'd better be convinced they're not going to rip you off for the short-term benefit. The fourth question, does the business have a big margin of safety? Demands you know the value of the business and can get it on sale. In other words, you'd better be able to buy this business cheap enough that you can sell it later without losing money, even if you were wrong to buy it in the first place. There are opportunities to buy wonderful companies at attractive prices. They really do exist. If you're willing to do your homework and say goodbye to mutual funds, if you are. For beginning investors, these 4 questions can be intimidating and scary. There's a knee-jerk tendency to think, I can figure that out, and be done with investing on your own. Wait, that I can't figure? A knee-jerk tendency to think, I can't figure that out, and be done with it. Be done with investing on your own. But I've got good news. First, it used to take a lot of time to figure out this stuff, but now it's fast with access to the right tools. Second, you only have to find a few businesses you can say yes to, and you're pretty much set for a while. From that point on, you just monitor your business and let the money roll in. Once I show you how to access and use the tools, you'll be able to keep close watch on your businesses and avoid losing any money, even if you make a few mistakes along the way or the market begins to do weird, unpredictable things. If you are finding yourself already a bit overwhelmed, take a deep breath. Central to this book is training you to answer these 4 questions in regard to any company so that you can become a confident individual investor. Be patient. It seems impossible to manage now, but eventually you'll be practicing 4M thinking without conscious effort. You'll be viewing the investment universe through a rule number 1 lens. That which we persist in doing becomes easier. Not that the task itself becomes easier, but that our ability to perform it has improved. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Now, on to those 4 M's in detail. Chapter 3! We made it to chapter 3! Nice job, guys! Okay. Wow. Chapter 1 was a little short. Or chapter 2 was a little short, huh? Okay. Let's do chapter 3. We got another 30 minutes. Buy a business, not a stock. An invasion of armies can be resisted, but not an idea whose time has come. But not an idea whose time has come. Victor Hugo. Wait, an invasion of armies can be resisted, but not an idea whose time has come? Interesting. Very interesting. I might mull that over more in my head later. The first M question, does the business have meaning to you? Implies 2 other questions. Do you want to own the whole business, and do you understand it well enough to own it all? To own all of it. Okay, sometimes I hate books because of this when I'm writing on paper, because like now I want to move my questions down so I have stuff, and it works great when you're on the computer and you have like one of those writing things and you can move stuff around. It doesn't work great for this. So leaves, if you haven't already, leave space between your questions. I think I'm just gonna, I've marked them 1, 2, 3, 4, so I'm just gonna mark these like 1A, so I know that they go to 1. And it's going to be do you want to own the whole business? And 1B, do you understand it well enough to own all of it? Okay. When I'm shopping for a great business to buy, I say to myself, Phil, if you buy this, you will own the whole thing and all that implies. I repeat this to myself, even if I'm going to buy only a small piece via purchasing a few shares of stock. There's a very good reason for reciting such a mantra. It gets me thinking like a business owner and not a stock investor, which is critical to becoming a successful rule number 1 investor. Be proud of what you own. If we buy the business as a business and not as a stock speculation, then it becomes personal. I want it to be personal. I want to be proud of what I own. This is an important starting piece for deciding what to put your money into. What we decide to invest in gets our vote for continuing to do business, whatever that may be. If we buy Coca-Cola, for example, we're technically endorsing the company. In effect, we're saying we want Coke products and we want Coke's way of doing business to proliferate. If we buy a business that exploits child labor in a third world factory, we're supporting the exploitation of children. Maybe that's okay with you, but the key point here is to own what you're proud to say is yours. Our vote may not count for much on the ballot box, but as owners of a business, it counts a lot. If our decision to own a particular business is a voice in the way the world works, I think we should consider what we're saying. Approaching rule number 1, investing with an awareness of what it is you think is good or bad in the world will help you make good investment decisions for you. This doesn't mean it'll safeguard you from buying businesses that won't fail, or that aligning your values with companies assures you maximal success from financial standpoint. It just means the world has enough hypocrites in it, so why join them? If you think something is bad for the world, then don't own the business behind it. Stand for whatever you want with your money and realize that it's a personal choice. Investing is one of the most morally charged and important things we can do. If we're privileged enough to be among the few who have more money than is necessary to survive, we must be careful how we allocate that excess capital. Ultimately, we could determine how the world works for our children. I'm not writing this book to tell you what to invest in. I hope that's clear. I'm writing this book so you'll know how to find great investments and I'm leaving it up to you to select the 5 or 10 companies you like the best. Thinking of investing your money like planting seeds in the ground, imagine that you'll reap what you sow. Act as if that's true, and buy every business with the 10-10 rule in mind. The 10-10 rule, which is so funny because we only this book kind of jumps around a little bit. I didn't notice, but he told us about the 4 M's. He went into detail about the first M, and now we're talking about the 10-10 rules. So we haven't finished the other 3 rules yet, but we're going to talk about a new rule apparently. The 10-10 rule. The 10-10 rule. I won't own this business for 10 minutes unless I'm willing to own it for 10 years. The 10-10 rule is just a way of thinking about investing. In fact, as you'll see, we might buy the business today and sell it in a month, and then buy it back 3 months later and then sell it again a few weeks after that. The fact that we buy it as if we're going to keep it for 10 years does not preclude us from buying and selling this business over and over. The reason it's important to buy using the 10-10 rule is that it makes us much more disciplined investors. Most investors assume they're going to lose money on some of their investments as the market for their stock moves up and down. Because of that expectation, they diversify to reduce the risk of overall losses. Oh, sorry. 1 second. Itchy eyes. But no business owner would be so casual about losing money in several of his businesses, as if that were just the way things went. Can you even imagine a business owner deciding to buy 5 more businesses to lower his risk? How crazy would that be? If his one business is too risky, why would diversifying into 5 more businesses make the first one less risky? If the first business is too risky, then he should sell it and get into a business he understands better. The 10-10 rule helps us remember how long we're willing to own this business, so we're always thinking as a long-term investor. That makes sense to me. I don't understand diversification. I think that's why I like this book so much. It made sense to me. As rule number 1 investors, we're going to only own a few businesses. Since that's the case, we must prepare ourselves to be certain we own the right few businesses, because that won't lose our money. We're having the luxury of waiting patiently until we can find wonderful companies at attractive prices, and we make it a habit never to put up our money until we're certain we're not going to lose money. If the company is in fact wonderful, and if the price we pay is in fact attractive, we know we are going to make money. But what kind of business would you own? But what kind of businesses should you own? Should you and I own the same kind of businesses? Are you and I the same kind of people? Do we love and understand the same kind of things? Obviously, every one of these is unique, with a talent all his and her own. Every person I took down the river was in some way unique. We are different with a purpose. Acting in harmony with who you are means investing in harmony with who you are. So, what kinds of businesses should you own? The ones you understand. Those businesses tend to be about who you are. Understanding your business. As I keep drumming in, the objective of rule number 1 is to invest with certainty so we don't lose our money. If we don't understand what we're buying, the only thing we can know for certain is that we don't have a clue what's going to happen to this business in the future. And if we don't have a clue what's going to happen in the future, how are we going to figure out what this thing is worth today? Obviously, we need to understand the business so we can predict the future with some degree of certainty, and then arrive at a value today. Just as obviously, it's a lot easier to understand businesses we already know a lot about than businesses we've never heard of. So we're going to start our search for a wonderful business by discovering the kind of businesses we already understand. You're probably wondering to what degree you must truly understand a business. For example, if you really love cereal, your favorite brand is Cheerios, that particular brand is manufactured by General Mills, and the company has never done you wrong. Can it truly be said that you understand General Mills? Or should you have a detailed knowledge of the behind-the-scenes manufacturing and retailing process of Cheerios? You must know the supply chain. the box manufacturing procedure, the labor costs, the marketing and advertising, the way in which shelf space is fought for. These are all good questions, but way beyond the scope of what I mean by understanding your business. Meaning is just the first step. So if you like Cheerios and feel good about the company, company that produces the brand, General Mills, that's enough to get you past the first M. By the time you finish the other three M's, you'll easily know enough about the business to make a good rule number one decision. How much do you need to know to check off the first M? Not much, really, just enough to get comfortable. You don't have to make a big deal of this. You don't have to know intricate details of marketing, the future product delivery pipeline, or much else except that you will like what they do, and it isn't hard to see that they can keep doing it better than anyone else. By the time you get done with the 4M process, you're going to know enough to put your money in with confidence. And, as you'll see, we have tools to help us escape without harm if we goof, meaning if the rule number one sense is just about understanding what a company does and how it does it, enough to be happy to put your name on the business and expect to keep it there for the next 100 years or so, according to Mr. Buffett's quoting Matthew 6:21, for where your treasure is, there will your heart also be. There will your heart be also. The only certainty I had when I started investing was that I wouldn't know a wonderful business from a terrible business. And the first thing I learned was that I knew a lot more about businesses than I thought. Let's do a quick exercise. Ooh, let's do the exercise. Yes. Queen. Fresh piece of paper for this exercise. Okay. This is a good exercise, and I haven't done it in a while. You're going to draw 3 circles that intersect in the middle. Label the first, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to have columns. It's just column 1, 2, and 3, because I don't know. I'm like, you can't keep me in a circle, okay? Label the first circle passion. Label the second circle talent. And label the third circle money. I must credit author and business researcher Jim Collins for this idea of the 3 circles, which he uses to evaluate companies, especially with those that go from good to great. I think that's someone we should add to our research list. Jim Collins. JMCOLLINS. Write everything you're seriously passionate about in the first circle. The things you love to do or would do if you had the time or the money. Write everything you're talented at in the second one. In the second circle, everything you're really good at, whether it's a professional or recreational sense. And in the third circle, write down everything that either makes you money or that you spend money on. Ask yourself these 3 questions. What do you love to do professionally and as recreation? Okay, I'm going to write these questions down underneath. This is why I did the columns. I'm going to write these questions down underneath the column, and then I'll write my list underneath that. Okay, so underneath passion, what do you love to do professionally and as recreation? What things are you really good at? And that's going to go underneath talent. And 3, what do you do to make money, or what do you do to spend money? And that's going to go underneath money, clearly. Your answers, especially the ones that reoccur with respect to all 3 questions, will help you begin to pick your own wonderful companies. So you fill out each one of these: passion, talent, and money, as best as you can, fully and well, and then you compare all 3 and you circle the ones that match up in all 3. And those ones specifically, like let's say, for example, my passion was running, and I was really good at running, and I make money running. That is something you should circle, and you should start looking into running gear, shoes, socks, clothes, like tape, the kinetic tape. I would say anything to do with healing, ice packs, heat packs, like workout equipment, energy drinks, those like energy shot gummy things that people take while they're running, like all that stuff is all within that. And there's companies that produce all of those things, and you know what your favorite ones are, and you're gonna go find them, and you're gonna be able to look them up really, really easy. You're not gonna have to Google search them or anything. You're gonna know what the company name is and where to go find them, the Better Business Bureaus, stuff like that. So, okay. For example, if I did this when I first started investing, I would have written that I was into river guiding, I was talented at river guiding, and I made money from river guiding. Simple. And once I saw that river guiding was in all 3 circles, all of a sudden it would have been crystal clear that I might have a fairly easy time understanding a river touring business. It also wouldn't take me long to see that a river touring business was similar to other businesses, like an African safari business, or even a cruise line. What's more, there's possibly a connection to a business like Disneyland or Magic Mountains, another popular theme park. What you're looking for in the 3 circles is something that shows up in more than one circle, a word that points to a product, an industry, or certain business. Anything that's in 2 or all 3 circles is something you probably understand much better than most of the rest of us do. It's possible something that has meaning to you, which automatically makes it an industry automatically makes it an industry worth researching. Go online to Yahoo and click on finances, then industries, and then industry index. As you'll see, just about every business in the world falls into one of these 12 categories or sectors. This is to get you thinking about what you'd like to buy before even learning about the technical analysis. Okay, so typically I save like my little lists for like ideas that I come up with for researching, but he specifically is asking for us to go check out these things. So I'm going to write down in my research section to go to Yahoo, then finance, then industry, then industry index, study 12 categories. Okay, now that that's added, Okay, let's go back. Before even learning about the technical analysis we'll be doing shortly. Once you've learned all the rule number 1 ropes, you'll initially spend lots of time hunting around these sites and searching for businesses to put to the entire rule number 1 test. Oh, he has like a little basic materials, capital goals. What is this? The list of sectors reproduced here from Yahoo isn't the list. There is no master list of sectors. Okay. Well, the ones they have here is utilities, transportation, technology, services, healthcare, finance, financial, energy, consumer non-cycle, cyclical, conglomerates, capital goods, and basic materials. Whew. Different data companies list different numbers of sectors by splitting or combining some. Each data company will have its way of categorizing and naming companies within sectors, but all will be relatively similar. I'll guide you through more of this sector hunting in Chapter 13. Each sector is made up of industries similar to one another. The adventure travel industry is one of these sectors, but which one? Don't be afraid to click around and see for yourself. Since adventure travel might be something to do with services, try that. You just click on services. The website brings up a bunch of industries that are all service related in some way. See the list on that page, which is the ones I read to you. From here on, it's just common sense. Look down on the list at the left and see if any industries could include an adventure travel industry. How about recreational activities? Click on that, and the list on this page is what comes up. Okay, let's look in. This is advertising, broadcasting, cable TV, business services, casino and gaming. It's kind of long. Does any of these companies look like an adventure travel company? Yeah, American Classic Voyages, Carnival Corporation, Royal Caribbean, and Val Resorts seem like they might be in the ballpark, but there are also other interesting companies on the list. Blockbuster is where I get videos. Netflix is where I get DVDs. Now you know how old this is. Netflix getting DVDs, okay. And I've been to Six Flags a bunch of times. Just like that, I'm in the ballpark of businesses that I, a former river guide, might know something about. Down in the canyon, after all, our passengers were asleep. We guides would sometimes sit around in the dark and talk about how great it would be to go on a cruise and let somebody else row the boat, unload the gear, cook the food, and bag the poop. I said pop. Haha. River tours and ocean cruises have a whole lot in common. What else can I shop for? Almost anything I like to do or buy is represented by a business in some sector and industry. If I think I know something about the outdoor equipment companies, I can find them in the recreational products industry. About 100 companies make products like snow machines, motorcycle, golf clubs, power boats, and skis. In the apparel group are other companies that pop out at me. I buy Colombian sportswear and Quicksilver for outdoor gear. They make good river shorts and snowboarding bindings. Just like that, based on my experiences in the Army and as a guide, snowboarder, motorcycle rider, and general consumer, I find 17 businesses I might be interested in owning. I'll put their symbols on a spreadsheet. Oh my. This is a blurry spreadsheet, but it is quite a lot. It is quite a lot. Okay, I think that's probably a good spot to end because, yeah, it goes on for a bit more. Okay, so we're stopping at 16%. I thought we were further along than that. Page 47 of 324 too. So we're almost a third way there. We're halfway to a third through the book. But I think I'm starting to get into like a rhythm for reading. The first 2 days was kind of weird. It's a little weird reading out loud, so just gotta do what you gotta do, you know? Anyways, thank you so much for coming and reading and taking notes with me, and we'll see you bright and shiny early tomorrow morning. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and scribble. Comment down below. What are some businesses that you can think of that automatically come to your mind that maybe you could look into to see if they are worth investing in? And until next time, I'll see you later.